cost has gone up dramatically, and since it's a very low margin business, they have really struggled. In fact, a number of customers we've seen go down because of the same reason. So these are the pressures. A very, very clear monetary policy needs to come out. Interest rates need to go down. When it comes to Tetra Pak Pakistan, yes, we have a very strong focus on our balance sheet. We have to make sure that we are really efficiently managing our risks. The second focus we have is, of course, making sure that the bad cost is moved out of the system. The expenses are under control. But having said that, on the other hand, we are also keeping in mind that let's not get our focus away from the opportunities which are there in the market. We are the 5th largest producer of milk, and looking at that, we've just committed $150 million worth of project for Pakistan. We are setting up a huge plant in Pakistan, basically doubling our capacity. So for a CFO in these times, it's a balancing act. To balance our opportunities with the risks and really keeping the long-term perspective.
What about performance now? Obviously, we were in a strong growth phase for good 5-6 years, and even in a storm, even turkeys fly. So performance monitoring was probably not as big of an issue. But now probably CEO Saab or the entire board, they must be screaming every day कि ये क्यों कर रहा है, ऐसा क्यों कर रहा है. Any drastic changes in the way you used to monitor performance and processes, and how that has changed and things you're implementing this year? Anyone?
I'll share with you what we've done in Shell. Part of it started earlier on, but a lot more focused last year. I think when you're making good money, then everybody's happy, not really worrying about the details. And when it goes the other way, they want to worry about every single detail. And there is a balance to be stricken. So we have moved towards trying to, one, develop our MIS and our analytical abilities in finance a lot more. And that's something that is continuing to be a challenge as we go forward. But the objective there is to give people more information of what they can control and take away things that they don't control but should not be on their agenda at all. So, for example, we look at our businesses at times just from their direct contribution. And historically, we used to look at all the way down to net profit, including several allocations of, like the cost of the CFO and finance and HR. We removed all that from anybody's target. Now we are able to hold them more accountable for the things that they have delivered, and they have less opportunity to try and explain it away from costs coming from somewhere else, which actually, it's a double-edged sword. Obviously, it can work against you.
So the unit itself is responsible for its own P&L? Its
own P&L based on its direct income and direct costs.
Is that something any of you are doing as well?
Yes. In our organization, we've introduced the concept of a VPP, a variable pay plan, with each business having identified their goals and targets which they can control, and of course it all contributes towards the bottom line. And it has been very clearly laid out as to what are their targets, the monetized value, the amount which they can achieve, and plus a percentage if they overachieve. So there are very clear-cut plans in place for the businesses. They know what they've got to do, and there are reports and MIS available for them to monitor that. And this has been set up because of this tough environment that we've got to work in. We don't really get any help from any of the external sources, where in the past, whether it was financing, whether it was government policies, everybody was more comfortable in the past. They were more easily available. Working capital finance was very easily available in the past. It's no longer there. Government policies were very supportive. It's no longer happening. The tax regime was very clear, or at least clearer than now. So all that is not happening. Everything seems to be going against us. So that makes it all the more important that to monitor performance and to make sure we and our teams understand what they've got to deliver.
Now, Misbah, how has your role, typically all the unit heads would do their own performance reporting or analysis, but it is falling more and more into the CFO's lap to build that MIS and to be able to analyze that and help the unit heads understand how their teams are performing. So how has your role changed there?
I mean, overall, if I talk about the CFO role evolving, definitely initially, we were seen as more controllers of, what's going on. But now over the years, we have come out of that role, and performance management has become a very important role, both at the level of the entity and also where, you're reporting to the board on your performance, preparing and planning, and also, managing different unit heads. The other roles that we've also seen come out that we have to now take a part in is also being a change agent, where we are supporting initiatives like SAP into many organizations are shifting towards these MIS. The other roles that we see us is also being an important key, I would say, stakeholder in making sure that we develop the organization. So we have the right people and we have trained them well. So there a lot of successor planning has also come in. So that's another role that we've had to take up. So I see this, there's a huge change in performance management is one of the important ones that have come out.
Go ahead.
Just one comment, about succession planning. ICAP can play a very important role in succession planning, and what at least personally I would look for ICAP to do is to come up with training courses, whether it is on IFRS or on SAP or on communication skills. We at times feel that whenever any new learning is required, we've got to do it on our own. ICAP does have courses, but then they at times become so time consuming that we really can't give that time. If there could be, from an ICAP perspective and from a chartered accounting profession perspective, if we could sort of have more of remote learning. I know the website is there and everything, but we really need to get up to speed on these new skills.
Yaqub Saab, I hope you've noted that.
Yes, Yaqub, and even basic communication skills.
Absolutely.
See, the controller of the past was a bean counter. Now he's no longer a bean counter, as Vispa said, change analyst. And we've got to be able to give our members those skills to learn and to become the change analyst.
And of course, specifically if you talk about performance management, Balance Scorecard is a tool that we use. It's a very effective tool. If you don't use it already, look into it. It really gives a good balanced perspective on the performance of the company.
Now again, coming back to 2010 and some specific issues, we all love the tax man. They're our favorite people. They're our favorite people in the world. And Abdullah Yusuf Saab is here in the audience as well. So this discussion would be specifically interesting for him. Now, Asim Saab, there are some changes in the way we do our taxes. First of all, we've started doing them electronically. It started last year, and this year we're going to start experiencing what it means to submit our taxes electronically, and the onus is on all of you. What has your experience been so far, and what are some of the challenges you foresee for this year?
Well, the experience so far has been interesting.
And obviously be careful about what you say here.
Oh no, I think our tax people are quite friendly enough to take a positive comment. The aim is very positive. It's moving towards that. But whenever there's a change, the transition period is difficult. And one of the problems that we foresee, which we saw, that when the returns were being filed, because unfortunately in Pakistan, last day everybody is rushing into to file their return. And that website there's some problem or something. And although you're trying to file the return, but you can't file it because of some technical problem. And even for a day's delay or 2 days delay, in some cases, very rarely, but does happen that a penalty is imposed. What we do, or at least what we did, was just as a very polite reminder to show that the website was not working. Against the minor penalty that we were imposed, we filed an appeal. The idea was to just show that there was no fault of ours. While I'd like to caution everyone that with technology coming in, we should also go for the technology to be able to file the returns in time. And not wait till the last day, because last day the website is so much loaded. But if there's some problem in the website and the return is delayed, it will happen. So all of you should be prepared for that. But in our case, because it was of no fault for us, so we filed an appeal. So it's a very interesting case where the penalty is so small and the appeal fee might be quite big. But that's a polite way of telling that, see, this is not our fault.